Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. My name is Stuart. In today's lesson, we're looking at how we use had better in English. Let's go to the intro. Now, today's lesson is looking at how we use had better in English, and had better is used in a similar way to a modal auxiliary verb. We use it in a similar way to should and ought to, and we use it to give strong advice and also to give our opinion on what we think people should do, even ourselves. So what I think I should do, or what I think we should do, or you should do, they should do, etc. Okay, so strong advice and what we think people should do. We use it in the present or future sense, or the immediate future, let's say, and we use it for a specific situation, and therefore it differs from should and ought to in that sense. So for specific situations. Now, the first thing I will say is that we need to focus on the pronunciation of this word here, which is better. Better, and when we say this word very quickly, better, we can hear that it is the schwa sound at the end, the schwa, the better, and sometimes you'll even hear people speak and these two letters here will sound sometimes like a D sound, better. So had better. Now, the examples that we have on the board, I'll show you a little bit in context how we use this, and we'll see how it's strong advice or what we think people should do, and even how we can almost get to using it for threats. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind also when we use had better, then it can sound like a threat. So let's have a look. Now, the first one here is it's getting dark, we had better go home. It's getting dark, we had better go home. So it's a good idea that we go home because it's getting dark. I want to get home before it's dark, the traffic, all of these situations. So it's a good idea, we had better go home. All right, that's example number one. Now, the second example, you'd better get going if you don't want to miss the bus. You'd better get going if you don't want to miss the bus. Now, here we can see that we are contracting, okay? We're contracting the you and the had to form you'd better. You'd better get going if you don't want to miss the bus. So again, I'm telling you what I think you should do, because if you don't want to miss the bus, you should go now, okay? So you'd better get going if you don't want to miss the bus. So again, the specific situations to miss the bus in this sense, you'd better get going. Now listen to that pronunciation again there. You'd better, you'd better, you'd better. Now it almost becomes inaudible sometimes that there is a D here. You'd better get going, you'd better get going. So we had better, we'd, you had better, you'd, okay? You'd better, you'd better. Now the next example here, let's have a look. John says he'll be home at 11 p.m. John says he'll be home at 11 p.m. Somebody saying that to me, my wife or girlfriend or whoever. John says he'll be home at 11 p.m. And I reply, well, he'd better be, otherwise, okay, he'd better be. So here I'm giving very strong advice that I think he needs to be home at that hour. He ought to be home. He'd better be home at that time, okay? Now this is almost, well, I'm not going to say it's a threat, but it's getting close. He'd better be back at that time, otherwise I'll punish him, okay? Otherwise I'll punish him. So it is like a type of threat in this situation. Let's have a look at this next one. You'd better pay back the money you owe me or I'll break your legs. Now here it is a threat. Very clear. You'd better pay back the money you owe me or I'll break your legs. Now here there's no doubt that this is a threat. So if we said here, you ought to pay back the money you owe me, you should pay back the money you owe me, we don't get that same threat. So you'd better pay back that money, mate, or I'll break your frickin' legs, okay? You'd better pay back the money you owe me or I'll break your legs. Now, nobody owes me money, so I'm just speaking hypothetically, of course, but you can see here that there is a threatening tone to my voice. There is a threatening tone to the sentence. You'd better pay back that money or I'll break your legs, okay? Get the point? Now, the next one. Peter says he won't be late again. Peter says he won't be late again because he has a history of arriving late to work. So he says he won't be late again. And the boss says he'd better not be. Now you can take that as a threat as well. He'd better not be late again or I'll sack him. Okay, so there's the threat. So when we use this structure, Peter says he won't be late again. He'd better not be late again. He'd better not be. That's that threat, okay, the threat. So there's a fine line between the strong advice and what we think people should do and the threat, okay? So it's how we use it. Now, the next example. Where are we? Yeah, here. He'd better not be late again or he'll lose his job. Again, this is strong advice. So really the threat's a little bit less in this sentence, perhaps. He'd better not be late again or he'll lose his job. So strong advice. He'd better not be late again. Now the next one. We'll see here that we're using this structure also in questions and in negatives. Now we can see here the negative structure. He'd better not be late again. So the not goes in between the better and the infinitive verb. Now remember, with the infinitive there's no to. It's a bare infinitive. And also another point that I will say is that we can't say have better. Have better doesn't exist. Had better is always the structure. So had better plus the bare infinitive is always the structure. There's no have better. There's no present tense here for this verb, okay? So it's always had better, not have better, plus the infinitive no to or the bare infinitive. So here's the negative here. He'd better not be late again or he'll lose his job. So we're putting not here. He'd better not be late. So this next one is a question. Had we better tell them there are sharks in these waters? Okay, that's a question. But it's not common to use this structure in question senses. It's better here to put the negative, hadn't we better, for questions. Hadn't we better tell them there are sharks in these waters? Okay, shouldn't we tell them that? Hadn't we better tell them that? That is the most common form when we're forming questions like this. So here we can see that we have the asterisk. So remember that had we better is okay, but it's not common. And hadn't we better is the more common structure. Okay? Now, the last point that I'll make here is between had better and be better. Now, it's quite common that you'll hear be better and had better. You could confuse the two, but remember that had better, you'd better go to bed. You've got a big day tomorrow. Strong advice, specific situation. Okay. And the next one, it's better to go to bed early if you want to wake up early. It's more general. It's general advice. Okay. It's not specific. It's general. So it's better to go to bed early if you want to wake up early. General. And specific, you'd better go to bed. You've got a big day tomorrow. It's a specific situation. Because of the big day tomorrow, you'd better go to bed. Or I think that it's a good idea that you go to bed now. Okay? So you'd better go to bed. You've got a big day tomorrow. It's better to go to bed early if you want to wake up early. General advice. So that is how we use had better in English. Now, thanks for watching the lesson. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. Remember to share the video, please, on social media, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Pinterest. Share it up on social media. I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a good day. Bye.